Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Yaps with Jay. I am the host, Janice, and we are finally at episode 6. Before we get into everything, let's just do some housekeeping. Please go over to my Instagram, my TikTok, and just give me a follow. And also go and subscribe. So I need you to click out of this, go subscribe, and then come back. And if it's your first time, welcome to my little audio diary where I just reflect and talk about the things that I've been through either this week or throughout my life. And as you will come to find, I do have a lot of things to kind of work through. So, yeah, please stay throughout this episode and just share with anybody that it resonates with. And also, please don't forget to send me a message on your reflections, whether it's on this episode or the previous episodes. And with that, I'm going to do a little shameless plug. If you haven't seen the other episodes, please go watch them. I would say watch this one first and then go back. So walk backwards into these episodes. But anyway, I think we should get into it. Today's episode's a little heavier, so just bear with me as I go through this, because I'm going to be talking through it kind of, definitely won't be in real time, because obviously this will be out after I have done the reflection, but it's still an ongoing thing that I'm reflecting on and working through. But if you haven't seen the title of this episode, it is Forgiveness Isn't Soft. So, without any further ado, let's get into today's episode. I want to talk about something that I didn't think I was going to bring into this space so quickly, but God had other plans. And that is today's episode, forgiveness. And not the easy kind, not the pretty kind, but the kind that sits in your chest for years unspoken. The kind that quietly positions how you see yourself and how you see other people. Until one day it kind of just breaks and cracks and you see it for what it is. And that's what happened to me this week. And weirdly enough, it started with a dream, and it took me a minute to realize what the dream was. But once I reflected, because I do keep like a journal right by my bed, so that when I do have these thoughts or like when I do have these dreams, I do kind of just jot them down, whether they're relevant or not. And this was one of those dreams where I was like I can feel that I need to think about this a little bit more. So yeah, that's what I did. I woke up and I wrote it down, and then I went back to sleep. And the next day when I read through it, I instantly realized what this dream was telling me, or like, to me, obviously, what God was telling me. So, about this dream. A few nights ago, I had this dream literally out of nowhere. And it was about people who haven't done very nice things to me in the past, growing up. And it wasn't even a nightmare. It was more so like it was subtle. It was almost normal. But when I woke up, I had this heaviness on my chest, like a version of me I thought I had outgrown, was tapping me on my shoulder and saying, hey, we're still here. You never really dealt with us. And in that moment, I realized that I hadn't forgiven them. I mean, not really. I kind of buried it. I worked around the pain, but I never worked through it. And working through your emotions, working through what you're feeling, I've come to realize is very important. But I think my mindset at that time was that, and this is not a word that I want to just throw out casually, but the trauma that I had gone through and that I had experienced when I was bullied growing up was so, it was so deep that I never wanted to reopen that wound. Like it was there. And, you know, when I had moved out of the town that I had grown up in, I thought it was done, but I thought it was over, but it was always just kind of sitting there. And yeah, I never wanted to reopen that wound because I know how I felt when it happened. And so I was scared. I was genuinely scared. And so that kind of festered in me. And I did kind of feel some resentment. I felt anger. Because I think in my head, I was like, I could have been a whole different person, because it affected my friendships. It affected how I see friends. It affected how I make friends. It affected my relationships. And like I said, how I see people. And I didn't want to tackle that feeling again. But I also didn't realize that it was just affecting my life anyway. And that dream had cracked something open in me. And it made me look at how that unresolved hurt had shown up in other areas in my life. In how I guarded myself, in how I assumed the worst in people's intentions, in how hard it was for me to trust in new relationships, whether it was platonic or romantic or workplace, whatever. Because deep down, I still believed the lies that they made me believe. That I wasn't good enough, that I had to shrink to fit in, and that I didn't deserve kindness. But the crazy part about all of this is that those people are probably out there living their lives completely unaware of the weight that I was still kind of carrying from this. After that dream, I made a choice to forgive them. Not for them, but for me. Because holding on to pain doesn't protect me. It only dims me. And I'm tired of living in the shadow of something that happened years ago. So I forgave. I sat with it. I wrote it out. I prayed through it. And I cried through it. And I let it go. But here's the thing that I've learned through this process. Forgiveness takes time, honey. It takes time. Forgiveness isn't always instant. Sometimes it's a decision you make once, and sometimes it's a decision you have to make every single day until it finally sticks, which is what I'm currently going through. Even though at that moment I did forgive them, I'm still now I'm actually walking through the pain and walking through the things that happened. And, there are times where I look at it and I'm like, oh, I should have done this. Or, maybe I was wrong. But yeah, sometimes it just brings me back to feeling not enough or not good enough. So, prayer has been helping a lot. I used to think that forgiveness was saying it's okay what they did, but it doesn't. It means I won't let what they did define who I am. I won't let their actions decide how I show up today. And I'm giving myself permission to be whole. And that shift has been the most freeing thing I've experienced in a really long time. So yeah, this week has brought some unexpected healing, all because of a dream, a reminder, and a choice to stop dragging that dead weight around through every chapter of my life. So if you're holding on to any hurt, especially old hurt, I just want to say, don't rush the process. I know it's easier said than done, but whenever you are ready, just let it go. It is so worth it to let it go. And I myself am still learning that. I'm not going to be rushing this process. As I said, this is like pretty recent that I had this dream, and I'm like working through the things that had happened. And yeah, don't rush the process. Go through it, walk through it day by day. If you have to forgive, people or situations or yourself, do it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time, and then eventually you'll get there. And that's me saying that to myself, because I do genuinely believe I'll get there. But I'm not gonna rush it. Just gonna walk through it each day. Thank you for sitting with me in this space and for letting me talk about the messy parts of growth, and for yapping with me as usual. I will see you on the next episode of Yaps with Jay, but until then, please be gentle with your past self and brave with your healing. I'll see you next time. Bye.